when we leave, as I call it, Jim's business school and going to the dog washing training, the best part that I really enjoyed, it's hands-on. So I had my trailer delivered basically to my doorstep and then had an on-road trainer with me. And so what's awesome, prior to that, I start reaching in and finding clients, and that's where I really use the paid for work guarantee of getting friends, family, neighbours, Facebook. So even before I had my trailer and my trainer on site, I already had bookings ready to go. I'd never groomed before. Me washing dogs was washing dogs in the backyard. This was a whole new experience, but the way that the trailer is set up with the trainer, in those 10 days of on-the-road training, I could try and have a good baseline of what to do with different dogs. Honestly, within a couple of days, I was grooming cavoodles like it's something that I'd been doing forever.
But today we're joined by Jen. Now, Jen, you've only been with us for a bit over a month now, and you're in Jim's Dog Wash in Blacktown. I remember you because we interviewed you in training, and I think you were leaving the police force after 25 or 27 years to do something new, and obviously would have been a very scary time. So how's it all been for you so far?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, Joel. I called myself very institutionalised after spending 27 years in New South Wales Police, and I'm now just on 6 weeks in. Honestly, I can't look back. I'm enjoying it completely. I love working with all my fur babies, but probably the biggest hurdle I had was going from an employee to then being a sole trader, having an ABN, having to have a bookkeeper, and figuring out the business side of stuff.
So how's that all been then? Because I presume, obviously, police force and army generally do really well in gyms because we've got a system in place and you can follow the system. You know, you got to do the system to a T, and they tend to do very, very well. So what's the business stuff that did you find it okay in the end, or how are you going with all that?
Yeah, no, look, 100% correct. I really drew on all my skills that I've already learnt, and they work to a T, because under gyms, if you follow the processes, you will succeed. You still have to have your own drive, but the formula's there. And I must admit, that's what I've been sticking to. That's what I've been doing, and it's working. Like I can't complain. So drawing on knowing how to do things, and when you're given a formula to do and then completing it, it works.
Yeah, it's reflected in your star rating. You've got a perfect star rating here. You got 47 ratings already within just over a month and a bit. Perfect reviews. So you're doing a great job with what you're doing as well, and it's reflected in your customer survey. So well done on that.
No, thank you very much. And I must admit, it's just finding what you enjoy. And I must say, I've found this in Jim's Dog Wash. One, working with dogs, but two, under the brand of Jim and with that support network, each day is a joy to actually go to work.
I was going to say, because, it'd be a tough, extremely tough job being in the police force for so long. I can only imagine just how tough it would be. So how's the change been going from dealing with, crooks and crims to little Shih Tzus or little pugs or little German Shepherds? How's that change been? Has there been much difference at all? Have the dogs been better behaved, or how's it been?
Yeah, look, humans and dogs are somewhat same, but what's awesome, I love that owners call you and want their dog pampered. And to get a dog and go through the whole process of, a wash, a blow dry, a groom, and then spending time with that dog, and they get really happy by the end of it. And then when you give their fur baby back to them, seeing their face light up of, oh, look at my fur baby, look at how good it looks and smells, that's just pure joy. So it's really rewarding actually spending time with any animal that I come across, giving them a nice pampering, and then giving them back to their owner. It's just simply joy.
It must be a massive change going from people who probably don't have the happiest face when they see you to the complete opposite, just a massive shift in what you do.
No, absolutely. And I think that's what I needed. I needed to find something that brought me joy and purpose again. And I must admit, working in the police force, especially during COVID, pre-COVID, and all the responsibility and stress that brings, a lot of service people will say that their bucket gets full. Mine got full, and it was just being honest with myself enough to go, okay, if it's not here, what do I need to do, or where can I go?
What else were you looking at the time, Jed? I presume you would have been looking at, like, it's a very hard decision. 25 years. We have people who do that after a very long time. And it's like, well, they want to do something else, but they don't know where to start. So what was that whole process like, looking at something in, and what was it about Jim's Dog Wash that made you decide to come with us? And was it just you had a passion for dogs and thought you'd give that a go, or what was in your decision-making process?
It's interesting. Like, I read a book, it's called Ikagi, and it's a Japanese way of life that if you find something you enjoy and find your purpose, you will do that without a want. It becomes part of your lifestyle. And for me, when I was first looking at, well, if I'm not in police, what can I do? A lot of police go to whether it's other insurance companies or investigations. And I started looking at that and I'm like, no, I don't want to be in corporate anymore. And I always had this idea in the back of my head that I wanted to be my own boss. And forever and a day as a kid, my parents finally brought a dog for me when I was 12, but that was probably after going around the neighborhood, finding these dogs, sort of stealing them and bringing them home. Like, I always had a passion for dogs. And then simply, literally scrolling through Facebook, and I saw one of Sharon's posts pop up about being a dog wash groomer. And it was something in an instant that my whole body, mind and soul went, I want to do that. And so I contacted Sharon, and I've never looked back. It was just something that felt completely right.
Now, that Akagi book, I know the one you're talking about, was Center recommended. What's the actual, it is on Audible. I know if people just type that in, maybe it will come up in the search results, but I saw like a graph, it's like 4 quadrants, right? And you have that intersection in the middle.
That's it. No, and look, and it's simply called Ikagi. And look, the most part that resonated for me is if you really look at what you enjoy and find your purpose, you will get out of bed with ease. And that's simply what I found.
Yeah, no, it's great to hear. And I recommend anyone, I know the book, if you've read it yet, it was actually on my wish list. So I haven't read that one yet, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And I've seen that recommended by a lot of people as well. So with your training then, Jen, so obviously you came to the Gym Scoop training, but then you had to go and do the dog grooming specific training. Now, a lot of people might watch this go, I like working with dogs, but I'm pretty scared to do the training. Like, do you want to just outline for them about the actual division specific training that you did to become a proficient groomer, and maybe just some advice, or how long did it take you to feel a bit comfortable doing different breeds and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. When we leave, as I call it, Jim's business school and going to the dog washing training, the best part that I really enjoyed, it's hands-on. So I had my trailer delivered basically to my doorstep and then had an on-road trainer with me. I had Kiara, who I thought was fabulous. And so what's awesome, prior to that, I start reaching in and finding clients, and that's where I really use the paid for work guarantee of getting friends, family, neighbours, Facebook. So even before I had my trailer and my trainer on site, I already had bookings ready to go. So my first day, I went to one of my best friends that had 2 caboodles. I'd never groomed before. Me washing dogs was washing dogs in the backyard. So this was a whole new experience. But the way that the trailer is set up with the trainer, and I really focused on getting a number of different breeds of dogs. So in those 10 days of on-the-road training, I could try and have a good baseline of what to do with different dogs. So going and grooming 2 cavoodles straight up, something totally out of my zone, but through Kiara showing me how to do it, honestly, within a couple of days, I was grooming cavoodles like it's something that I'd been doing forever. And then the other part of it is understanding dogs. I mean, when you turn up, the owner's already out the door, ready to hand over their dog. And it's like, let's just get to know each other first, because this dog doesn't know you. You need to take it into the trailer. You need to make it feel safe. So it's really working with the dog. And that was the best part about having a trainer with me, is there's no rush to do anything, and really make yourself feel comfortable. And that energy is put onto the dog. And that's what I've certainly found, is you come in with the right energy. It doesn't matter if it's the big German Shepherd or the little Chihuahua. They know that you're there to take care of them. And I honestly haven't had too many problems. There's always in the back of your head, are you going to get bitten by a dog? And if you just, I think, stay calm, you work with the dog, you see its movements, You know if it's getting unhappy and you can change something. Touch wood to date, I haven't been bitten, but I think that's just also following the training that you're given, backing yourself, going in with confidence, and just coming from a kind place and not rushing stuff to work with these dogs.
How many dogs are you, how many clients or customers do you currently have? Like, are you on a repeat cycle yet? Because you're probably sort of at that stage where you're at the 8-week or the 6-week repeat cycle.
So I think I've got probably about 60 or 70 clients at the moment. It's been such a whirlwind.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was this week that I actually had now my regulars coming back, and it was such a treat to go back to these clients that I think they're past clients. I think they're friends now. Like when you turn up, you're already conversing with them. The dog's already seeing you and wanting to come over. So it was a really joyful experience this week, starting to go back to my regular clients. And that's now in a matter of, at the start of 6 weeks.
That's great. I was going to say as well, have you been surprised by how much work there has been available, or has that just been something that you've gone and you generated with good customer service and referrals as well?
Look, when I did my research, and speaking to Sharon originally, I knew that there was more work than could ever be done. But at the same point, I didn't know how much it was going to explode once I started. So prior to even starting, I'd already sort of reached into people and had work. But as soon as I opened up my business Facebook account and then also Jim's leads, in 2 weeks, I was that overwhelmed with how much work that was coming in that I had one of those panic moments going, Jim's going to be on the phone to me because I can't get back to all these customers.
Yeah.
And it's that good and bad thing. It was great that there's so much work to be done and people really want their fur babies looked after. And that was then good to go to my franchisor to say, look, I've had 10 leads come in. I've got my Facebook exploding. I'm trying to do these jobs as well. How do I figure all this out, to get the best out of everything?
Good point. I had my old videographer Greg did a Jim's Mowing franchise and interviewed him the other day, and he got 20 leads on his first day. And he was the same sort of thing. He's just like, don't know what to do. This and that. He's sort of, you got to sink or swim almost in a way, but it's the best way to learn.
100%. I think that's what I certainly learned. Like being thrown in the deep end, so to speak. I had a number of different breeds of dogs, had a number of clients wanting their dogs done. But I had a fantastic trainer. I had a great franchisor supporting me. And it just came back to, and I think drawing on my years of experience is the most important thing to begin with is the client and the fur baby, and then just triaging what I needed to do. So I put a lot of admin stuff to the side and just focused on what I needed to do at that moment and be in that moment. And it worked really well.
Have a line for people about your customer service and how you maintain a really good, perfect rating. What do you do? Do you want to step through from customers? A lead comes through or some messages on Facebook. What's the process then from there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to treat someone the way that I would like to be treated in the first place. So when I get someone coming through, it actually does bring me joy that someone wants their fur baby looked after. And what I really learned from Jim and what he gave us in that first 2 hours of business training, the sooner you reach back into them, the sooner that they know that you actually want to do that. And that's probably been the most valuable part, is not delaying that contact when someone reaches in. But then when someone reaches in, is to have a conversation with them, find something more than just the transactional bit. What is that hearts and minds? So just having a general conversation with them of whatever it may be about their day or where they're at or their dog, and then committing to a time that actually suits them and then turning up at that time. And if anything happens, to actually reach in and let them know what's going on. So having that good communication skill, I think, has certainly made all my interaction really well. And I mean, I'm actually really pleased with my customer surveys. Again, brings me that joy and happiness that what I'm putting in is actually being returned and my clients are actually really enjoying the work that I'm doing.
It's a great one because generally people remember the end of the experience more than most anything else, right? You're handing a dog back that's nice and groomed and they're happy to see it. So the end of experience is most of the time if they're happy with the job, it's always going to be positive. So it's a really good division in regards to customer service and ratings. And you guys can get a lot of good ratings and reviews very quickly, as you have done. You'll probably be at 100 maybe by end of January next year, I would say, which is a really good achievement. I know there's a couple. Remember I met one lady in Canberra had 500 or something after 6 months. So I think that was Meg or Mel, which was amazing as well. But working with dogs, so how have you found the different breeds and handling those different types? Because there would have been times where you've come across a breed and you're like, I didn't cover this in training. What's the sort of, how'd you deal with that?
It's you know what it is? Training gave me a good baseline. So I always drew a back upon that and going, okay, let's just, if I felt I was getting overwhelmed or didn't know something, I just relaxed, brought it back down, just did a simple process. So, I mean, today was the first day that one of my clients who owns a pug actually wanted shaved. And I'm like, wow.
Pug shaved? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And most pugs aren't shaved.
They're very short hair. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I reached into my trainer and I said, what do I do here? And she's like, you do a reverse 10 shave. And I'm like, okay. And we've got enough video resources as well that I just looked at the video resource, took those details, and then did it. And I'm like, oh, that actually works. And the other one was a schnauzer. So a schnauzer has a pattern type groom to it. And similar again, and that was one of my good mates that I worked with in the police. And at the end, he goes, how did you know what you were doing? And I said, I just took my foundational stuff and then applied it. And I said, some of it's really trusting yourself. And I think I've really taken upon the gym's brand, having professional training, that what you're given, have the confidence to do it. And I think that's what I'm relying upon.
That's great. And as you get more experience, you're just going to become more and more knowledgeable. And that's the thing with franchisees, not only dog wash, in other divisions, they might get a job and they go, I don't know what to do. And they might watch a YouTube video or something and they'll do it and they'll learn it, or they'll call another franchisee who'll come out and help them. And once they learn it, then they've got a new skill and they can go and they can get more and more clients offering that. I was going to say as well, with your family and friends, have they noticed the change in you, or how have they found you running a business, or what was their sort of thoughts about it all at the moment?
Yeah, interesting you say that. So when I actually joined the police, I was this bubbly and fun person. And I think over the last couple of years, it's been really hard. And I probably sort of withdrew and became angry and trying to put boundaries up. And what everyone has noticed is my smile back, my joy, and they can clearly see that I'm doing something that makes me happy. And that's probably been the biggest response from friends and family, is they're like, can you stop posting stuff that, you're smiling about?
That's great. I was going to say as well, are you happy with the income as well you've been making? You don't have to say how much you've been making, but you're happy with the level?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think what I'm blown away with is going from a salary type thing to now in this space, I can earn as little or as much that I want to, and whatever energy I put into that, I'll get out of it. So that's what's just blown my mind with that. It's make as little or as much as you want to. There's no limits.
How have you found driving the trailer as well? Because sometimes that can put people off driving the trailer. So how did you go in the first couple of days with the trailer behind you?
You know what? It's funny. Everything's a process, and I must admit, I was always a little bit daunted. Why I've had trailers before, I was like, wow, this is a big thing, which it isn't really. And again, it's just getting comfortable. And it was actually today, I've driven down a street that's a one-way street, and I'm like, man, I've got to get out of here. And I actually did it, and I'm like, yeah. So again, it's just that thing of, having a trailer. I wasn't a trailer expert, but you do stuff outside. Like I went to a car park and actually learned how to reverse until I was comfortable.
That's great. That's a really good idea. Practice with that makes perfect. I know a lot of people sometimes get intimidated by the trailer, and even in like some of the other divisions, I know mowing, some of the guys will have the trailer utes to avoid it. So, it's great to hear that you're okay with that as well. Now, with your business itself, is there anything else that you do, like any insights or anything that you might think everyone else does it, but do you think maybe it's a bit unique? Do you have some sort of system, or you said you leave your admin to the site at the end of the day, or you're using a bookkeeper, which is great. Is there anything you're doing in your business to help you?
Yeah, a couple of things I'd like to draw on. One thing that I started doing, unfortunately, my business cards were delayed and I didn't get them for about 2 weeks until I was in. So I thought, how can I work around that? So what I started doing is while I'm taking before and after shots and photos during the process, what I've now been doing and continue to do is at the end of the dog wash, I'll actually send the client photos before, after, and during with all my details, which has been a really good thing. So now they're getting photos of their fur baby that they haven't seen before, happy with my details. And I've just said, look, if you're happy with me, can you pass them on?
Very smart.
That's been a really good part. And the other thing that I did coming in is I looked at where I didn't have experience. And one of those was certainly bookkeeping and owning a business. So I've reached in, I've got my bookkeeper. I'm starting to understand all of that world. Certainly not comfortable with it. So that's why I've actually made sure I have someone to work me through that part. And I think the other side is just the transaction of money with clients and stuff like that, is just being comfortable to say, I'm a premium service, use that brand and what it's backed, and have the confidence to say, this is my price, this is what it is, and go forward with it.
You've been dealing with the price objections, because then obviously you get price objections. So how do you deal with the customer in that situation if you get a price objection, or they might go, I'm an R, or they might go, someone else is cheaper? How have you been dealing with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, it's that classic that I've heard before, getting a sale without sort of, trying to push it, is to say, yes, I'm a premium product. And I'm a premium product because, one, I'm behind the Jim's brand. We've been police checked. I've learned pet first aid. I have premium products, a premium trailer, and I can assure you that your fur baby is going to get the premium service. So the price indicates that. If you want to go elsewhere, that's okay as well. But this is what you're going to get from me.
And you find your conversions, like obviously you get onto them really quickly, you're converting like 90%, 80%. What would you say your conversion rate is?
Yeah, I think it's high, but I haven't actually gone back over to check it because it was sort of a tsunami of work that came in.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I haven't, where I'm at the moment, I'm certainly in my business and I want to work on my business. So that's what I'm planning to do over between Christmas and New Year, is just to step back to see what was successful and where I can work better in it. And I think most of the clients that came in, I was able to convert it, but there's a couple still in the back of my mind that were a bit iffy of price or wanted to get quotes, but they're the ones that I can go back to now to go, where are you at? Would you like a service? And something that Jim's always said is you can always offer a free service to trial what I'm like as well. So there's all those options in our bag of tricks to use.
To the photo things, I think that's clever. With the photo you send to the customer of their dog, do you actually put your number on the photo itself? So do you edit it and actually put it onto the photo so that if they do post it on Facebook, your number is in the photo, or how do you do that?
Oh, I haven't done that, but I will now. So look,
That's what I was thinking of people to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I was simply just, because I didn't have those business cards with me, I'm thinking, how can I still give them something to take away? And it sort of just came really naturally as I just messaged and I'm like, here's some photos too. And people were loving it. And so, look, I'm going to take that on board, Joel.
Yeah, I'm going to add that to training, actually. I had that idea. I mean, I thought that's what you were doing, because it's really smart, because if you put your watermark there, because in Canva, for example, on Canva on a phone, you have a watermark that goes in there, and you could have your handle and you could have your mobile number or DM, contact for a free quote mobile number on the actual photo itself. And then if your customer shares it to a group or whatever, that's something I can do that. So for sure. So that's what I'm thinking in training now I'll do, because most divisions can do that. But that's a great idea to do that, how you're doing it as well. I think that's really good.
Part of me with, thinking, how do I just make sure that they've got my details with something to take away? And so that's great talking to you. I'm certainly going to upgrade that as well.
It's a good idea. We come up with this together. I'm going to add that to our training, because not even dog wash, mowing, fencing, for example, they could all do that pretty simply. It's not hard to do. And it's a little 1%, but who knows, if they put that in a Facebook group or something like that, it could lead to a lot of work, which it can do. And I was going to say as well, with your business next year, you said you're going to plan on working the business. Are you looking to expand to put on employees maybe, or is that an option with dog wash where people can do that, or what are you hoping to do?
I think at the moment where I'm really at is I just wanted to have a business that I could blend my work and family commitments into one. And I've certainly got that tick already. And I must admit, I haven't closed off any thoughts of where to go, because whether it's adding another trailer, taking on an employee, there's another plenty of options to look at. And that's where in January, I actually want to explore with some of the other dog washers and actually spend a day with them to find out how they've done stuff and how they've, progressed their businesses, because I can really see it's limitless of what we can do. And I don't want to be stagnant, and there's certainly the work there to progress it. So it's something that I do want to look at in the new year.
Matt would be great to talk to. You got Matt in WA, Matt Wilson would be really good to talk to. And I think there's up in Queensland, they have multiple trailers and stuff. And I'm sure that you can get their details and they'll be happy to chat with you. But I was going to say as well, with the lifestyle, you mentioned family. How do you do it to work around your family? You're obviously doing a lot of work still, but is this something just knowing you've got the ability to go to school or to go to something, that's for you as the benefit to it, or how have you been working in with your family life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just having the flexibility that I don't have to go to my manager or boss to change a shift, or that's my set hours. I still reckon I'm working the same, maybe more, but it certainly doesn't feel like it, because the most important things to me is my eldest son just finished year 6. So it was going to his graduation, taking him to his farewell dance, but having other opportunities as well. Like one of the speakers down at Melbourne said, don't stop doing things that you enjoy. And at the beginning of the year, I took up Tai Chi, and they've got a Tuesday class in the morning. So these are things that I've made sure that I've gone to, and then I put my work around it. And most clients I'm finding is you let them know when you're available and you can slot them in. So it's working that real hand in hand of knowing what I want to do. But then if things come up, like my eldest son at Scouts broke his finger, and then we had to spend the night in hospital. We didn't get out till about 4:00 in the morning, and I saw that I had clients the next day. I've just rung them up, told them the situation, and rebooked them in. Like, I think communication's the key, and I've found that balance of fitting in my clients around my family and things that I want to do actually really, really easy.
Yeah, so many complaints in gyms generally come down to communication or lack of it. So shooting a text or doing a courtesy call, regardless, it always goes a long way. Most customers are generally pretty good if you tell them in advance. I was going to say as well, what type of dogs do you have at home? We've seen your cat jump on the screen. So you're not going to do cat grooming, are you? Have you tried to do a cat groom?
It's so funny. I think in the first week, someone came up to me and said, will you do my Mancoon cat? And I'm like, look, I'm just trying to figure out dogs at the moment. I'm not going to say no, but just give me a bit of time. So at home, I've got 2 dogs, a Border Collie and a Kelpie. And we've also got 3 cats, a couple of chooks as well. So very big animal lover.
That's great. And do you have any particular dogs you're fond of in terms of breeds, or you just like them all, or is there any particular ones? I always ask this question to people in dog wash.
Yeah, I started stalking golden retrievers.
Nice.
They're the friendliest dog on the planet, and I wanted to see whether that was true or not, and it's absolutely true.
They always look very happy when they're getting a wash. I've seen some videos online. They always look very, very wrapped.
Nah, but look, honestly, I must admit, I actually really do love all the dogs and getting to know them, right down to the sweet little chihuahuas, to the biggest dogs. Like I had a 40-kilo chocolate lab the other day. It was just a ball of happiness. So whether they're big, small, whatever shape, they've all been beautiful.
You found working in the trailer?
I love it. Like, I think it's such a good setup to have the aircon, the space in there. Some of my clients have a look and go, this is better than the caravan that we've got. Now, I really like that. Like, I think what I like is being on the move, where I have my running list for the day, I have my job, so I turn up, I do that service, and then I get in and I go to my next job. I really like being on the move and be able to take it mobile.
And I was going to say as well, What advice would you say to someone maybe looking at doing what you did? Because it's pretty courageous to do a change after 25, 27 years, and to do that's very, very hard. It's not a easy thing. It can be very, very scary. But what advice would you have for someone maybe who was thinking about doing what you did? What would you say to them?
Just don't let fear hold you back. Just because that's where you are. And look, you can't disregard that you're in what you think, and it is a reliable job. You're getting paid a good wage. But if you're not happy and you're truly not happy, don't be scared to make a change, because when you think about it, we've all started at its starting point and we've grown. And I really backed myself and I thought, no, I can do this. And I put the right support processes around me, and I certainly haven't looked back. And it's almost, I even rang Sharon after my 4 weeks saying I got to the end of the 4 weeks. And she's like, I think we had this conversation about a year ago about you joining. And I was like, now I wish I had done it earlier, but I just had to do the process in my head to make sure I was comfortable. So, I mean, the best advice I can give anyone is just be honest with yourself and don't let fear hold you back. If it's something that you want to do, you put the energy in and you will succeed, and you certainly get the rewards. And I'm certainly getting rewards within 6 weeks. So I can't wait to see what a year looks like, and then 5 years and 10 years. So yeah, it's the future's looking very good.
I'm really glad we were able to catch up with you from training. We actually interviewed Craig and Fiona. I don't know if they were in your training. They're from car detailing. I interviewed them last night. Craig and Fiona, they're from Gippsland, and they were doing car detailing as well.
Yes.
And so I caught up with them yesterday, and they're doing really well as well. They had a lot of questions and a lot of fear at the start. They're asking me a lot of questions after the Ask Jim, but they're doing really well as well. So it's been great to be able to follow up with you guys from training, just to see. It's been really quick. It's like a month and a half, and you're already very happy, and it's great to see. So we're really glad that you're doing well, and it'd be great to see where you go to as into the 12 months. You're not even at 12 months yet, so it's gonna be great to see your progress.
Thank you very much, Joel.
All right, thanks, Jed. Appreciate your time.
All right.
No, bye. Thank you for listening to the episode of the Gyms podcast. If you want to learn more about the Gyms Group, head to gyms.net or call us on 131 546 Australia or 0800 454 654 New Zealand. And if you did like the episode as well, please make sure you leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a comment on the video as well. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.